Hello, everybody, and welcome to another podcast. My name is Tia Thompson. This podcast is me, Mom, Dad, and Parkinson's. My name is Tia Thompson. Here I am sharing our journey with Parkinson's. Harold Thompson, my dad, is 84 years old now and has had Parkinson's for 3 years now. I might be want to say 3.5 years. I have discovered our activities, trials, our laughter as a family team with my mom and my other family members together helps us sharing our journey with Parkinson's, helps others beginning a journey with Parkinson's. We want to share our experiences in order to help anyone dealing with Parkinson's. That's how this podcast began, with friends of mine who have a family member or friends that they have with Parkinson's, and they have asked me questions and opinions on important things that matter in the Parkinson's patient's life. That's how this podcast got started. Like my last podcast, this is number 3. So, the last podcast, I mentioned the importance of allowing the Parkinson's medication to really absorb. So, that's one of the things I will cover during this podcast. At least that is what has really worked for my dad's Parkinson's, the absorption of the medication, which is cortidopa levodopa. We call it the yellow pill, my mom and I. So you can take a listen to the second podcast, those of you who are just joining my podcast, for that information if you want to know more about that. Again, the trial and error of what my mom and I, along with my dad, have experienced is how we are managing my dad's Parkinson's. These situations might not work for everyone, but we are just sharing what works and does not work for my dad's daily activities. So what has worked? To begin this podcast, I'm going to talk about B12s and electrolytes. We give my dad B12s and electrolytes during his daily, during the day. When my dad was first diagnosed, we noticed he was extremely sluggish with no energy at all. And I went to the articles and the books on Parkinson's and read that this could be one of the symptoms of the disease, the fatigue. So we start my dad's day out with his breakfast. He will get a vitamin chewy that has loads of vitamins and B12s in it, and some electrolytes in a little water. And we might give him a little coffee, a little caffeine, which give him a boost as well. Not too much coffee because he has high blood pressure, and we are careful not to make his blood pressure rise. We don't want his blood pressure to spike. But I do notice a little caffeine, really a little bit. He takes a couple sips and it gets him going with the B12s, and we monitor his blood pressure. We have a blood pressure machine in our home, and we do monitor it, and so far so good. So of course it's a fine line. He needs the vitamin B12s, but it's a fine line not to give him way too much to have his blood pressure rise. Which brings me back to what I talked about in the last podcast, which is making sure the cortidopa, the yellow pill Parkinson medication, absorb properly. So 2 hours before he eats a meal, we give him the yellow pill on an empty stomach. Uh, the problem we had in the beginning when he first got diagnosed was the blood pressure meds would interfere with the Parkinson's yellow pill. We were giving him the cortidopa, the yellow pill, with his blood pressure meds, and it was a mess. He was literally falling to the ground everywhere. And we were giving my dad his blood pressure meds with the Parkinson's meds, and it was a nightmare. Um, my mom and I figured out that the yellow pill, wanted to be alone going into his body. So now we have figured out how to give him his the yellow pill 2 hours on an empty stomach all by itself, that yellow pill, and let it absorb for 2 hours. The blood pressure meds go elsewhere. Usually we give him the blood pressure meds with his lunch or dinner. And so far, this seems to be working very well. I had a friend who had the same situation with her dad, and not everybody realizes that the yellow pill has to be alone going in. At least it does for my dad, and a friend of mine discovered the same thing with her dad, and he did much better once she went back to her dad and said, oh, try what they're trying, doing this on an empty stomach, the yellow pill. This seems to work very well. And the next thing I can't repeat enough is exercise, exercise, exercise is a huge deal, my friends, for the Parkinson's patient. I will continue to repeat how important it is. My dad's schedule, my dad will go to the gym at least 3 times a week. He will ride the bike at the gym for a few minutes, then do some treadmill, and he does do some of the other machines at the gym, the ones that strengthen his legs and his arms. And to switch things up in between the gym, we do like to take walks in the park as well. And these are some things that I hope will help anyone out there, again, dealing with Parkinson's. He goes to the gym, and sometimes my butt is sitting at home. And I need to go to, which I do, to exercise as well. But him and my mom and he go regularly because we know it is vital to his life. Which brings me, I'm going to walk in here. Last podcast let you hear my uncle and my dad hanging out like two 12-year-olds. So now we're going to just talk with Gloria Thompson, who is my mom. Hello, I am here now with my favorite person, my bestest friend, my mommy, Gloria Thompson, the wife of Harold Thompson. She's part of my podcast, Me, Mom, Dad, and Parkinson's. She's 82 years young. Mommy, tell everyone hello. Hello. And I'm interviewing you, and we're sharing what a team you and I are caretaking of my daddy. Is that right? And tell them We have alarms on your phone, alarms on my phone that tell us throughout the day time to call daddy, whether he's out having fun in the streets with people. We call him and say, time to take your cortidopa, time to take your yellow pill. And it's important all day long. He knows he's got to take the pill on an empty stomach. But, Mommy, tell everyone what time you get up in the morning to start the medication process.
The first alarm goes off at 6 a.m.
And it's two medications, actually.
Yes.
The yellow pill.
And the Azalat.
The neurologist put him on Azalat, which is another Parkinson's medication he takes once a day. And he will start that on an empty stomach. Tell him you wake him up.
I wake him up.
Put it in his mouth.
Yeah.
And he'll go back to sleep. And then what else happens?
He gets up at 8.
Yep.
To have his breakfast by 9.
Uh-huh. And then he'll wait around, and the next couple hours, our alarms on our phone will go off.
At 10 o'clock.
Yeah, we give it to him at 10. Another yellow pill. And then we do it again.
11:30.
Yeah. And he takes 3 yellow pills per day. And you and I are a great team, correct?
Yes.
We're preparing meals, and without each other, it would
be very difficult.
So we do it together, preparing his meals, and the two of you also go to the gym
3 times a week.
3 times a week, which strengthens his body as well.
Mm-hmm.
And you and I are always laughing and joking, keeping our spirits up. Tell the viewers why we keep our spirits up laughing.
Well, we have to keep our spirits up in order to keep his up.
Yeah.
If he sees we're down, then that brings him down.
So we're always finding something to laugh at and giggle at, and again enjoying our meals and get-togethers with families. He's out now with your brother-in-law.
Yes, they're getting their haircuts.
And you and I give ourselves treats as well to keep our spirits up. And we just try to go along as a team, huh?
Now, along with this Parkinson's medicine, we still have to give him his regular medicine. Blood pressure and other meds that he has to take.
Yeah.
We have to feed that in with his Parkinson's medication.
Right.
Then he takes sleeping pills before he goes to bed.
That the neurologist has given him to help him sleep. We'll talk about why we do that further on in our podcasts as well. Symptoms of Parkinson's. But we're very blessed. He's walking, wouldn't you say, Mama?
Yeah, walking, talking.
And having fun. And he's not in a wheelchair. And we count our blessings.
Yeah.
And I couldn't do it without you.
That's true. We couldn't do it without each other.
And that is my mommy, Gloria Thompson. 82 years young. Say goodbye to the viewers.
We'll talk to you later.
All right, girl. Gloria Thompson, my mom. And I hope that you guys out there, anyone dealing with Parkinson's, has a team member like I do, my mom. It's so important to, like we were saying, laughing and enjoying each other as family. My uncle Jesse is still here with my dad, and they are just like 2 teenagers. It is a joy to see my dad hanging out with his brother. We giving him more B12 so he can hang out with my uncle. On the last podcast, I mentioned to you guys how my brother, my sister, my My uncles and my cousins visit often to keep my dad's spirits up because one of the symptoms for Parkinson's patients could get into some depression, and we want to avoid that. So we get together, barbecues, and cooking, which brings me, last podcast I shared with you, my mom's famous pancakes. We get together as family cooking and eating together, laughing and having, and cooking as a part of the fun. So this podcast, my friends, I'm going to share with you another recipe. This is a quick recipe. Since I was a young girl, my mom has made this recipe. I have no idea where she got it from. It is orange chicken. So easy. So you get your chicken, any chicken. She usually does the parts of a whole chicken cut up, but any kind. Wings, doesn't matter. Season your chicken, salt and pepper, and you will get concentrated orange juice concentrate. The frozen orange juice. Let it defrost. And the Lipton soup mix packs. Lipton soup, onion soup packs. They're in the box. We use Lipton. Lipton onion soup packs. And white wine. So you get a mixing bowl, pour the concentrate, the orange juice, concentrated orange juice. Pour that in a bowl once it has defrosted. And then pour your 1 pack of the Lipton onion soup mix. Just pour the dry pack in with the orange juice. Then pour white wine. About a cup, or if you want a little more, but a cup of white wine. Mix it all together, all those ingredients. Pour over the chicken. Bake in the oven, 375 until brown. It is so delicious. Unbelievable. You can't believe those 3 simple ingredients make such delicious. I'll share a recipe every time because, again, getting together, enjoying a meal with family, and keeping our spirits up. Me, Mom, Dad, and Parkinson's, we're all together as a family, enjoying a meal and having fun. And that's why I share a recipe, so you too can enjoy fun and togetherness, going through challenges such as Parkinson's. But we're managing it and getting through it and enjoying life even with Parkinson's. Please remember to subscribe to me, Mom, Dad, and Parkinson's. Again, my name is Tia Thompson. Please subscribe to the podcast. I'll have more. I'll keep them coming. Thank you, my friends. Enjoy the music.